Greetings from the Woodstock Fruit Festival. Actually, I'm at home in Vermont right now. It's the last day of the first week of the festival and the first day of the second week. And my friend Jen and Tony wanted to escape, so we came back to my farm to pick some blueberries and get all berried up before we go back to the festival this afternoon. So here we've got Tony Wright, expert blueberry picker. Tony's from the UK, from Cornwall, England, and Tony wrote an amazing book called Return to the Brain of Eden. It had an original title which was Left in the Dark. So Tony, what's your book about? In 3,000 words or less.
3,000 words or less, yeah. Well, in short, it's really an attempt to diagnose the human condition, try and explain why it is humanity is so insane, and then come up with some solutions. And the broader context is our symbiotic origins with these things, the sex organs of plants. So it's really a different take on our origins, and in turn explains why we've ended up in such a mess. And hopefully, if we find the cause, which I think is between our ears, maybe we can fix it and make some big changes.
So the theory is that human beings symbiotically evolved in the forest with fruit-bearing plants?
Yeah, yes, a very special relationship with fruit. And we all know what fruit is, but really it's the reproductive organs of the plant kingdom, very hormonally active, and we formed this special relationship, and that took us to a more juvenile form and gave us a juvenile brain, and that could do an awful lot of cool things. And when we lost that relationship with the forest, we've been slowly reverting back to more basic mammals, which is fine if that's what we want, fine for survival, but lacking a lot of these very special abilities, such as high cognitive function and empathy and compassion. So it's really about trying to figure out a way to restore that structure, and in doing so restore a state of mind that has a semblance of sanity.
In balancing the two hemispheres of the brain hormonally through consumption of fruit and...
Yeah, well, part of the idea is that each side of the brain at one time through the actions of the fruit chemistry had become almost identical. They were like a singular system, very unusual traits. When we lost the fruit, the brain has been degenerating, but one side much more quickly than the other. So we now have one side that's actually much more primitive, much less functional. Unfortunately, it's running the show. It gives us a sense of who we are and what we are. And it's kind of I and me in our day-to-day lives. And it's nothing like as bright as it thinks it is. It thinks it's very clever, but actually it's really stupid. And we see that all around us. We see the symptoms of our mind's decisions and beliefs. So I'm interested in how we can reconfigure that and create a sense of self and a state of mind that isn't so stupid.
So consuming lots of fruit is one possible step in the right direction. Yeah, the chemistry of fruit kind of modified our own system and was integral in this whole process. However, I'd say it's a little bit more complicated than just eating fruit. I think it's a step in the right direction, simplifying your diet, making it more natural, more biochemically active, and beginning to add more fruit. But I'd also say, in tandem with that, you need to engage in exercises that can switch over from being entirely stuck in the side of our brain that A, isn't too bright, and B, actually doesn't have the most efficient assimilation system, and start making a little bit of a shift towards the relics of our ancient consciousness system, which has all these cool traits and a much more efficient assimilation system, and that's where we can really handle the fruit anyway. So more like a holistic approach. Diet, absolute foundation, and then combinations of approaches, I'd call them treatments, that can dampen down what we might call our egotistical mind and begin to engage this other self that has these rarefied properties. I think that's the way forward.
Are you enjoying yourself at the Woodstock Fruit Fest this year?
Yeah, it's been, I think, so far it's been one of the most relaxed festivals they've put on. The first year was very chilled and relaxed, and it kind of got more busy and bigger. And this year it's just really relaxed, incredibly friendly. It's the thing I noticed most this year, turning up from flying in and all the rest of it, and just immediate warmth and friendly vibe, and it's continued all week. So yes, it's excellent this year.
So if you come to the Woodstock Fruit Fest, you get to hang out with the likes of Tony here, who looks like Gandalf the Grey with that hat on. It's kind of great. I met Tony at the first Woodstock Fruit Fest in 2011, and he quickly became one of my favorite people. We have somewhat similar minds and love to have deep, lengthy discussions, which is why we escaped today, to talk amidst the blueberries. So if you're having thoughts about the Woodstock Fruit Fest, this is the kind of people you get to meet, and it's really extraordinary, all the people there. So we're going to go back to the festival in a little bit, and we'll see you there. You want to come closer? You can come closer. Awfully cute. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Come here. Come on. It's okay. You want to come over? We got berries. It's okay. So Tony, how'd we do?
Well, I think okay. There's enough there for a bit of a taste, and they do taste good. Yeah.
So here we are in front of my studio, and all the trees in the parking lot are ornamental plum trees. Quite a few of them are ripe, so I've got a fruit forest growing right here in front of my mill studio. Yum! That's mine up there on the 4th floor.